اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون. كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون. ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا وأنزلنا من المعصرات ماء ثجاجا لنخرج به حبا ونباتا وجنات ألفافا. إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا. إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا. إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا وكل شيء أحصيناه كتابا فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا. إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا. يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا. ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا. إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلى الله عليه وسلم.
صلوات پڑھیں۔ شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، روز قبر سکینہ پہ آؤ گی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، جب تلک لوٹ کر میں نہ آؤں، آ کے شمع جلاؤ گی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، صورت شاہدی بے کفن بھی میرے جیسی اسیر محل بھی، خالی کرتے میں مدفون غربت، مثل اصغر رہی بے کفن بھی، کیا کفن کی طرح روز چادر اس لحد پر چڑھاؤ گی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، ایک یثرب کی تھی شہزادی، اس کا سکہ تھا بات غازی، مشق لے کر گیا سوئے دریا، اور قبضے میں کر لی ترائی، لوریوں میں یہ سچی کہانی، روز اس کو سناؤ گی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، روز قبر سکینہ پہ آؤ گی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، ہم نے زنداں سے پائی رہائی، اب بہن پاس ہوگی نہ بھائی، بات اتنی سی بس یاد رکھنا، میری بچی ہے غم کی ستائی، تم نے بازار میں تو ستایا، اب نہ اس کو ستاؤ گی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، جب کبھی قید خانے میں آنا، بے رضا بھی بیویوں کو نہ لانا، تم کو اصغر بھی دے گا دعائیں، اس کی تنہائیاں یوں مٹانا، چھوٹے چھوٹے سے بچوں کو لا کر پاس اس کے سلاؤ گی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، قبر بے کس پہ آنسو بہانے، حال کہہ دے ستم کا تنانے، قافلہ کر بلا کو چلا ہے، اس کے بابا کا چہلم منانے، اتنا کہہ دو ہماری طرف سے، اس کا چہلم مناؤ گی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، شامیوں کی بہو بیٹیوں سے کہہ رہی تھی وہ اکبر یہ رو کے، یہ امانت ہے پردیسیوں کی، کر رہی ہوں تمہارے حوالے، مجھے سے ایک بار بس اتنا کہہ دو، اپنا وعدہ نبھاؤ گی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، صلوات 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 بانے دیگر صلوات۔ بانے دیگر صلوات۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ بار دیگر بلند تر صلوات۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔
مجھے اس کا یہ پڑھنا ہوگا، پیاسی ہے سکینہ ہے، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، ٹھیک ہے؟ صلوات پڑھیں۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔
ہے مومنو جب مجلس شبیر میں آنا، پیاسی ہے سکینہ ہے، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، بچوں کا تمہیں واسطہ یہ بھول نہ جانا، پیاسی ہے سکینہ ہے، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، یہ سوچ کے جی کھول کے تم اشک بہانا، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، ہے پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ ارے مجلس جہاں ہوگی وہاں آتی ہے سکینہ، ارے پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، ہے پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ اللہ کرے آئے کبھی ایسا زمانہ، ہو شام کے زنداں کی طرف آپ کا جانا، پھٹ جائے گا دل دیکھ کہ وہ غم کا ٹھکانہ۔ ارے بے حال ہوئی قبر میں سوتی ہے سکینہ، ارے پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، ہے پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ یوں جانب دریا گئے عباس دلاور، اور دریا سے مسکیزہ بھرا بادل مزتر، دریا کی ہر ایک موج یہ کہتی تھی تڑپ کر، ہے تیسرا دل ہائے تڑپتی ہے سکینہ، ارے پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، ہے پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ شام آ گئی جب چھانے لگا بن میں اندھیرا، زینب نے کیا بھائی کہ لاشے پہ یہ نوحہ، کیا تم نے سکینہ کو کہیں دیکھا ہے بھیا؟ ارے ایک کوزہ لیے دشت میں آئی ہے سکینہ، ارے پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، ہے پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ دروں کی اذیت سے تڑپتی ہے حزینہ، دکھتا ہے بدن سسکیاں لیتی ہے سکینہ، سونے کے لیے پاس نہیں بابا کا سینہ، ارے ایک کونے میں سہمی ہوئی بیٹھی ہے سکینہ، ارے پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، ہے پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ کہتا ہے سنو ہاتھوں کو جوڑے ہوئے گوہر آج سے بہے آنکھوں سے اشکوں کا سمندر یہ کہتی ہوئی جائے نہ شبیر کی دختر لب خشک زبان سوکھی ہے روتی ہے سکینہ ارے پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ پیاسی ہے سکینہ ہے پیاسی ہے سکینہ صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. بر محمد و آل محمد بلندتر صلوات. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. Like two majalis, one was yesterday and the other one was today and the other would be on tomorrow by Maulana Tayyab Moosavi. Now I request Maulana Sahab to address the majlis. Bar Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad blantar salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Please recite Surah Fatiha for your marhumin and for all the mu'mineen marhumin that do not have anyone to pray on their behalf. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يسينا معه العدون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون الذي لا يدركه بهد الهمم ولا يناله غوث الفتن الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود ولا وقت محدود ولا أجل ممدود فطر الخلائق بقدرته ونشر الرياح برحمته ووتد بالسخر ميدان عرض ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وحبيبنا وحبيب رب العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعن على أعدائهم أجمعين من أول يوم ظلمهم إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المبين وقوله الحق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ ابتلى إبراهيم ربه بكلمات فأتمهن قال إني جاعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهد الظالمين صدق الله العلي العظيم. The first of our salawat in honor of Amir al-Mu'mineen and Sayyidat al-Nisa al-Alameen. The second of our salawat in honor of Hassan and Hussein, the masters of the youths of paradise. And finally, the last of our salawat with the loudest of your voices in honor of the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Zaman alayhi salam. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We know that after the demise of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Islamic Ummah was split into two groups. Right after the demise of the Holy Prophet, there was a group that believed that the successor to the Holy Prophet or successorship to the Holy Prophet was left to the Islamic Ummah for the Muslims to get together and decide for themselves. That group that still has that belief until today is known as Ahl Sunnah. There was another group that said no, the successorship to the Holy Prophet was already determined in the time or during the life of the Holy Prophet himself, and it was the Holy Prophet himself who determined who his successor would be. And today, this group still says that the Holy Prophet had determined that Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam was to succeed the Holy Prophet. And this group today is known as Ahl Tashayyuh or the Shia. The topic of Imamat is a crucial topic, not just for Shias themselves, but within the realm of Islam itself, the topic of Imamat is crucial. Why? Because today, when you talk about Imamat, it's Imamat where there's a difference of opinion. When it comes to the aqaid of Islam, when it comes to the foundation of Islam, we know that Usul ad-Din are 5. Tawheed, Adl, Nabuwat, Imamat, and Qayamat. When it comes to Muslims in general and as a whole, there isn't a difference of opinion in Tawheed. We believe there's only one God. They believe there's only one God. When it comes to prophethood, they also believe that the last prophet was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We also believe. We also believe that the last and final prophet was the prophet. They believe in an afterlife and a judgment day. We believe in an afterlife and a judgment day. The difference of opinion between the two schools of thought is where? In terms of aqaid. Justice and imamat. If you think about it, in aqaid, the next aqidah, it follows the previous one. What do I mean? Meaning that the previous aqidah has already laid down the roots for the next one to come. Meaning what? Tawheed. Without Tawheed, Adl has no meaning. If you don't believe in Tawheed, if you don't believe in a God to begin with, then what is the point of saying God is just? The roots of Nabuwat were already put down in Adalat. What do I mean? When you believe that there is a God, you believe that this God is just, then through his justice he must send people or his representatives to guide mankind. So the roots of Nabuwat were Adalat. Now when it comes to Imamat, the roots of Imamat fall where? In Nabuwat. In Nabuwat. Meaning what? Meaning that now that we believe that there are 124,000 prophets, and the last and final prophet had already come, and he left this world, does that mean that the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has completely stopped? If that's the case, then anyone that lived after the demise of the Holy Prophet on the Day of Judgment, they can say, Ya Allah, there was no guide in my time. There was no one to guide me. This is the reason that Imamat is important, and this is one of the reasons that Imamat needs to exist within Muslims' aqidah. Why? Because this guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not cease, did not stop with the Holy Prophet. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just, and on the day of, or there will be a day of judgment when He will judge all of mankind. If there was no guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then on that day of judgment we can say we had no guide. We had no guide. But because you and I, we're Shia, because we adhere to Imamat, then it becomes necessary that you and I prove Imamat to the other school of thought. 1. 2, it becomes necessary that our aqidah of Imamat grows stronger. The stronger your aqidah for Imamat, Tawheed, when your aqidah for Tawheed is strong, then when it comes to showing that Tawheed, meaning what? How do you show that you believe in a God? By worshipping that God. When it comes to showing that you believe in Tawheed, when it comes to that worship, when your aqidah for Tawheed is strong, then your worship will be strong. When you believe that there is an afterlife and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just, then you will show that by doing Amr bil Maruf and Nahy anil Munkar. When you believe, when your aqidah for Nabuwat is completely strong, then your belief in the Quran and the revelations will be completely strong. When you believe in Imamat, that after the Holy Prophet left this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept guidance through Imamat, then what does that mean? that means that you and I, our amal bil maruf and nahi anil munkar will be or should be the same as that of the imams. When you look at the imams, they live their life, amal bil maruf, nahi anil munkar. Imam Hussein alayhi Islam, he rose up, amal bil maruf, nahi anil munkar. Alaykum salam wa rahmatullah. For amal bil maruf, nahi anil munkar. But you have to remember, brothers and sisters, if you look at Karbala as a whole, what was Karbala? It's absolutely true that Imam Hussein, he rose up for Amr bil Maruf Nahi Munkar. But why did he have to rise up for that cause? Do you all know why? Because at that time, even like the previous times, there were two imams. There was one imam that was selected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that was Imam Hussein. There was another imam which was selected by the people, which was Yazid. Inshallah, we'll get into imam. This is my topic for tonight, imamat. What is imamat? What is the philosophy behind imamat? Who gets to choose who an imam is? What do the traditions, what do the narrations say about imamat? Not just our narrations, but what do Sunni narrations say about imamat? And is there criteria for an imam or not? These are questions that are on everyone's mind, and if they're not, they should be on everyone's mind. So, to begin with, what does imam mean? Imam, in just the Arabic language, it just means leader. That's it. For example, Imam al-Jama'at, the leader of the prayer. Imam al-Jum'ah, the one who leads Salat al-Jum'ah. Imam, it means leader. But when we're talking about imamat from the point of view of the Shias, we're not talking about that imamat. We're talking about imamat as a representative or someone who represents Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. Someone who succeeds the Holy Prophet. Someone who guides mankind to where they need to go. The difference between imamat and nabuwat is what? We as Shias, we say that nabuwat or a nabi or prophet, he brings the religion. But an imam or revelation is given to a prophet, but for an imam, revelation is not given to him. An imam, their objective is to make sure that the revelations that were brought, to make sure whatever fiqh, whatever laws that this prophet has brought, an imam's job is to make sure that those laws are kept intact. That's the job of an imam. From a Shia point of view. But when you look at what imamat means from a Sunni point of view, they've only taken imamat to be leader of the Muslims. They don't have criteria when it comes to who can be the leader of the Muslims. There's no criteria. If you say that the Quran is enough, then did the Quran put down criteria for who can be the leader or who can be the imam? If you believe that the Quran is enough. If you say, no, the Quran isn't enough, we need the Quran and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet, then what does the Quran say, or what is the criteria that the Holy Prophet put down for the imam, and what is the criteria that the Quran put down for the imam? Because there has to be criteria. But before we get into this topic, I just want to make sure that one thing is clear. What's sad is that as soon as the topic of imamat comes, the other side, they're not willing to listen. What do they say? They'll be like, hey, this isn't the time to talk about imamat. All it does is it sows disunity between the schools of thought. Is that a fair criticism? The Sunni school of thought, it has 4 other schools to it, underneath it. There's difference of opinion in all 4 of those schools. Yet it doesn't sow disunity when they talk about those differences amongst themselves. But when we talk about our differences with them, all of a sudden there's disunity? Why is that? The only reason that there would be disunity is what? If the other side isn't willing to listen. The only reason there would be disunity if one of the sides is arguing not based on the Quran, not based on logic, not based on the Sunnah of the Prophet, but if the other side is only arguing for the sake of argument. They're not willing to open their mind and listen to what is being said. This is what sows disunity. And when it comes to our maktab, when it comes to our school of thought, alhamdulillah, we can prove every aqidah that we have, all of our beliefs, from the Quran itself. We can prove all of our aqidah, all of our beliefs from the sunnah of the Holy Prophet. And now that that's cleared up, an Imam, like I said, from the Shia point of view, is a successor to the Holy Prophet. Is a successor to the Holy Prophet. But does that mean that the Imams, they only existed after the final Prophet? No. No, it doesn't. All of the Prophets, they themselves were Imams. They were Prophets and Imams. But the degree of Imamat they had, the degree of leadership they had, it was mahdud. Meaning what? It was limited. It was limited. The Imamat that Ahlul Bayt had, it was limited to what? It was limited to the Imamat that the final Prophet and final Messenger had. However vast his Imamat was, that's how vast Ahlul Bayt's Imamat is. How vast was the Imamat of the Holy Prophet? That's the question that the Muslims need to ask. Because the majority of Muslims, they think that the Holy Prophet's Imamat was only over government rule. That was it. That's it. From a Shia point of view, no, the Holy Prophet was not just a leader exteriorly, meaning he was not just a leader for the government, no. The Holy Prophet was our leader, not just in the exterior world, but he had control or he had leadership over our souls also. He was our leader holistically, not just from one aspect. From everything we did, to everything we did, he was our leader. But the other school of thought, they do not see imamat in this context. They just see it as government rule. Government rule. But when it comes to imamat, brothers and sisters, where do you and I, or how do you and I prove imamat from the Quran itself? Where do you and I? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, يَوْمَ نَدْعُ كُلُّ أُنَاسٍ بِإِمَامِهِمْ. On that day, all the groups will rise with their imam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used the word imam. Why has he not said, on that day every group shall rise with their prophet? Why hasn't he said that? Why? Because there would come a time when prophethood would completely cease to exist, or prophethood would finish. When prophethood finishes, then imamat continues to go. That means what? Just from this one verse, you realize one thing. What is that? That until the day of judgment, imamat needs to exist. Until the day of judgment. If it didn't, then how could we rise up with our imams? Imam needs to exist until the day of judgment. So who's the imam now? Who's the imam now? We as Shias, we have our 12th imam. For the majority of Muslims, who's the imam? Because it becomes difficult. Why? Because Shia narrations, Sunni narrations, they all state one. There's one narration that this narration everyone is muttafiqan, everyone agrees on. The Holy Prophet says that if you die not knowing the imam of your time, is as if you've died in the age of ignorance. It's as if you died in the age of Jahiliyyah. So you and I, we know our imam. So who's the imam of the majority of Muslims? If they don't know, then if they die tomorrow, then they've passed away as if they've died in the age of Jahiliyyah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, he says in the Quran, that on that day, everyone shall rise up with their imams. But is there criteria for an imam? What is the status of imamat? When you think about it and you read the Quran, the verse that I started this lecture off with, what verse was this? This was dealing with Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. After Hazrat Ibrahim, he passes the test of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what? Ya Ibrahim, I have given you an uhda. I've made you an imam. I've made you an imam. That means what? Hazrat Ibrahim already had prophethood. Hazrat Ibrahim had prophethood already. Now he's being given imamat. That tells you that the status of imamat is higher than the status of prophethood. Why? Because if the status of imamat was lower, then that status Hazrat Ibrahim should have had from the beginning, and he should have been given prophethood. If prophethood was higher, he was only given imamat after passing the test by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was only given imamat after passing. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? وَإِذْ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ. When Hazrat Ibrahim, when his Lord tried Hazrat Ibrahim with certain words, meaning the test that Hazrat Ibrahim had to pass through for the shahadat of Hazrat Ismail, when he had to lay down Hazrat Ismail and he had to do zibah. When Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, he passed that test, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says to Hazrat Ibrahim, قَالَ إِنِّي جَعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. Ya Ibrahim, I have made you an imam for men. And what does Hazrat Ibrahim reply? He says, Ya Allah, what about my offspring? What about my offspring? And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? He says, Ya Ibrahim, this ni'mah, this uhda, this imamat is not for the zalimeen. This is not for the zalimeen. Just in this verse of the Quran, do we not find one criteria for imamat? Do we not find one criteria? One criteria just in this verse is what? That imamat is not for zalimeen. That's a criteria now. So in order for someone to be an imam, it's necessary that that person is not a zalim. That person is not an oppressor. One criteria. So when it comes to imamat, brothers and sisters, there are criteria that need to be met. One. Two, we had said, who gets to choose an imam? Is it Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who decides who the imam is going to be? Or is it you and I who decide who an imam is going to be? If you say it's you and I who gets to decide who an imam is going to be, then do you and I know who can guide us to the afterlife? Do you and I know? No. If someone tomorrow says, I can guide you, look at Islamic history. People who were misguided themselves for 40, 50, 60 years, who are worshipping idols today, are going to guide the Muslims to the right path? How is that possible? For you to be an imam, one of the criteria is what? Another criteria is that this imam needs to be infallible. This imam needs to be masoom. This imam does not make any mistakes. Why? Why is that? It's because if the imam is able to make a mistake and we follow him, what have we done? We've committed a sin. If the imam can sin, if the imam sins and we follow that imam and commit that same sin, how is that taking us to paradise? It's taking us away from paradise. When one of the criteria is infallibility, do you and I know who is infallible? No. You and I don't know who is infallible. But who would know who is infallible? Only another infallible being. Only another infallible being, whether that infallible being is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or that infallible being is the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. One more, salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or another infallible being such as the Holy Prophet would know who else is infallible. One criteria, infallibility. Another criteria is that this imam cannot be a zalim. Cannot be a zalim. So what does that mean? When you look at Islamic history, the people that the majority of Muslims consider to be imams, do they fit at the very least these two criteria? Because when you look, or you ask the majority of Muslims, they say, look, the Imam after the Holy Prophet was the Khalifa. Was the Khalifa. He was the Imam. If that's completely true, that the one after the Holy Prophet was the Khalifa and the Khalifa was the Imam, then on the Day of Judgment, you have people like whom? You have people like Yazid ibn Muawiyah who were Khalifa. On the Day of Judgment, will Imam Hussein rise up with Yazid as his Imam? No. Does Yazid even meet the criteria to be an Imam? That's the question. Did Muawiyah meet the criteria to be an Imam? Did the ones that usurped the rights of Amir al-Mu'mineen meet the criteria to be an Imam? We had already said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Imamat is not for the Zalimin. One of the definitions of a Zalim was what? Oppression, of oppressor. It was that anyone that takes the right of someone else is known as an oppressor. So when the right was Amir al-Mu'mineen's to begin with, anyone that took the right of Khilafat from Amir al-Mu'mineen is known as an oppressor. If they're an oppressor, then how can they be an Imam? How can they be an Imam? This is where the majority of Muslims, they need to start thinking. They themselves, Quranic verses, they put forth Quranic verses. Saying, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this verse, for the Muslims in general, to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to obey the messenger, and to obey ulul amr minkum, those in authority amongst you. And when you go to the masses and you read the verse, they'll think, hey, you know what, that's absolutely right. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obey the messenger, obey ulul amr minkum, those in authority amongst you. This is when you need to start analyzing the verse, and when you start analyzing the verse, you realize that no, this isn't just anyone that's in authority amongst you. This isn't just anyone. Because if it was just anyone, then that would mean that I would need to obey Yazid lanatullah alayh. I would need to obey him. Why? He has authority. Today, in the Islam, forget the rest of the world, in the Islamic world, if the person who has authority over me, he drinks wine and he tells me to drink wine, I need to drink wine? This is what needs to be asked. When you analyze the verse itself, obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obey the Prophet, and ulil amr minkum. This is the reason infallibility needs to be a criteria. This is the reason infallibility is a criteria for imamat. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is infallible. The Holy Prophet is infallible. Now the ulul amr that is coming also needs to be infallible. Why? Why? Why does he need to be infallible? Because the possibility of sinning does not exist. What do I mean? If the ulul amr was not infallible, if the ulul amr was fallible, if he tells us to do something, and the Holy Prophet had told us not to do something, who would we follow? Who would you follow? If you don't follow the ulul amr, then you've rejected this verse of the Quran. If you do or you commit the sin that this ulul amr tells you to do, then what have you done? You've committed a sin which the Holy Prophet told you not to do. The same thing. This is why infallibility needs to exist. This is why infallibility is a criteria for imamat. Why? Because the possibility doesn't exist in the mind. When the possibility doesn't even exist in the mind, then it won't exist outside the mind. It won't exist outside the mind. But a lot of Muslims, they do not understand this concept. Simple concept, but it goes over their head. I don't understand why. When it comes to imamat, imamat is an ukhda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He is given to whom? His most devout servants. What is the difference between the Imamate that Hazrat Ibrahim had and the Imamate that Ahlul Bayt have? You and I, we say that the Imamate of the Ahlul Bayt is higher, or their station is higher than Hazrat Ibrahim, do we not? So what is the proof? That verse itself was the proof. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, what to Hazrat Ibrahim? He said, Ya Ibrahim, I have made you an imam over mankind. Mankind. Was the imamat of the Holy Prophet only over mankind? Or no? Alal alameen. He was rahmatul lil alameen. That means his rahmat was for alameen. His prophethood was for alameen. His imamat was for alameen. Now the ones that are succeeding him will also have that same imamat that is for alameen. The ones that are succeeding will have that imamat that is for alameen. Salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. When you come to Islamic history, you come across Khalifas such as Banu Umayyah. You look at Banu Umayyah and the atrocities they committed. You look at Banu Abbas and the atrocities they committed. Who in their right mind would say these people are imams? Who in their right mind? You look at what Yazid did. Before Yazid, you look at what Muawiyah did. You look at what, for example, Harun Rashid did. You look at what Ma'mun Rashid did. These are the imams of the Muslims. You look at Islamic history. What did these Muslims do? For power, they killed other Muslims. Did they not? To get power, they killed other Muslims. To keep power, they killed other Muslims. That means what? That means within this being, if these emotions are not controlled, then what happens? This being, if these emotions are let loose, this being will commit those atrocities to keep that power, to gain that power. So there needs to be an immaculate personality, an imam who can help us control these emotions. And the time of the Holy Prophet, that was him. So who was it in the time after the Holy Prophet? Who tells us what is right? Who tells us what is wrong? Is it the Quran? In this day and age, is it the Quran that will tell us what's right and what is wrong? Isn't it because of the Quran, the interpretation of the Quran, there's so many disagreements today? The interpretation of the Quran. So there needs to be a personality who will tell us what is right, who will tell us what is wrong. So there is no difference of opinion. Why? This personality, because he's chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he tells us that this is it, we accept that this is it. We accept that this is it. And this person that is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs to be chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because as we already know, there's so many emotions within ourselves. Greed is within ourselves. If you and I, or if the choice is left up to us to decide who an imam will be, will we not choose someone that will benefit our desires? Just look at society here. Every 4 years we elect a president, do we not? Do we not elect a president based on what we feel we need? This is what happens. We elect a president based on what we feel we need. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He chooses someone based on what? What He knows what everyone needs. What everyone needs. You and I, because of this greed, because of these emotions, we will just say, hey, I want this guy. Why? Because this guy will be able to do this for me. For me. I'm not looking at the others. I'm just looking at myself. I'm just looking at myself. And when you read the Quran, When you analyze the Quran, you come to the conclusion that no, it's not possible that after the demise of the Holy Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left it for the Islamic Ummah to get together and decide who should be the Imam. Why? Because when you look at history, from the time of Prophet Adam alayhi salam till the time of Khatam al-Anbiya, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ever leave it for the ummah of that specific prophet to decide who will be the Imam? Did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leave it to the ummah of that specific prophet to decide who would be a prophet? No. Hazrat Nuh came after. He came way after Hazrat Ibrahim. He came way after Hazrat Adam, sorry. Hazrat Ibrahim, he came after Hazrat Nuh. Did the people decide and choose Hazrat Ibrahim to be prophet? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had chosen Prophet Ibrahim to be prophet. Hazrat Isa came after Prophet Musa. Did the people decide that Hazrat Isa was going to be a prophet? No. You look at who came after Hazrat Isa. Did the people decide that this person was going to come after Hazrat Isa? No. Hazrat Isa himself, during his lifetime, he said that this disciple of mine, you are supposed to follow him. When it was never left for the ummah of a specific prophet to decide who will follow that prophet, why is it now all of a sudden, when prophethood itself, not just prophet, but prophethood itself is completely leaving this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides, okay, now I'm going to let the people decide who gets to be an imam. How does that make any sense? Now is the time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself to decide who will be the imam. Why? Because prophethood is completely leaving. But the majority of Muslims, they say, no, he left it to the people to decide. Okay, that's fine. Even, let's say for a second, that he left it for the people to decide. Was there ijma, was there consensus on who should be the first Khalifa? No, there wasn't. A group of people in Medina, they got together, they chose the first Khalifa to be the first Khalifa. But even then, was there ijma, was there consensus? No. Banu Hashim did not participate in that. Banu Hashim did not participate in that. So where was ijma, where was consensus? There was no consensus. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left it to the people to decide, then what right did the first Khalifa have to decide who would be the Khalifa after him? What right did he have? If that was wrong, then why did the second Khalifa choose a group of 6 people for them to decide amongst themselves who should be the third Khalifa? Because now if you say that Khilafat was left to the people to decide, after the Holy Prophet left, there was 3 ways that 3 people became Khalifa. 4 ways people became Khalifa. Abu Bakr became Khalifa how? A group of the Muslims in Medina decided that Abu Bakr was to be Khalifa. Umar became Khalifa how? Abu Bakr decided that Umar should be Khalifa. Usman became Khalifa how? 6 people, Shura, a council of 6 people decided. It wasn't all 6, but the conditions that Umar had, it was geared towards Uthman becoming Khalifa. But a group of people decided that he should be Khalifa. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala truly left it for the people to decide, why did these other 2 ways come? Why did they come? The only person whom the Muslims themselves went to and made Khalifa was whom? Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. That was it. The Muslims themselves, they went to Amir al-Mu'minin. You read the khutbahs of Amir al-Mu'minin and Nahju Balagha, he says what? They came to me. The Muslims, they came to me, and what was going on? They were crushing Hassan and Hussein. There were so many people, they were crushing Hassan and Hussein. Amir al-Mu'minin, he didn't want anything to have to do with this Khilafat that they believed to be Khilafat. No. Well, the Muslims today, they believe Khalifa is a leader of Islamic rule. That's it. Amir al-Mu'minin didn't want anything to have to do with Khilafat. He knew what Khilafat truly was. That's why when you read or you look into history books, Amir al-Mu'minin rejected it. They came to him, a group came to him and he rejected it. He said, I don't want anything to do what you want with it. Do what you want with it. But when there was a big group of them that came and they forced it on Amir al-Mu'minin, then he accepted it. And the way he ruled, they didn't even let him rule the way Khilafat was supposed to rule. One war after another. You had Muawiyah in Sham, in Damascus, who wouldn't accept Amir al-Mu'minin's rule. You had the Khawarij who rose up against Amir al-Mu'minin. You had Aisha who rose up against Amir al-Mu'minin. What's amazing, if you say or you rise up against the first Khalifa, you're kafir and you're wajib al-qatl. You say something or you rise up against the second Khalifa, you're kafir, you're wajib al-qatl. You rise up against Amir al-Mu'minin, no. You're not kafir, you're not wajib al-qatl. There was just a disagreement. That's what's amazing. When it comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen, no, there was just a disagreement. When it comes to the first Khalifa, no, you're kafir. And this is what the problem is today. What's amazing, if you do la'an on the first three, you're kafir. But the one who fought the fourth one, no, they're not kafir, they're Muslims. Katib al-Wahi. Is it worse to fight the Khalifa or is it worse to do la'an on him? That's what's amazing. And Muslims, they don't even stop and think. They already have their fatwa stamp of kafir taken out, and they've already stamped everyone. If they truly understood what the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen was, they would realize that someone who doesn't accept the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen is a kafir. Someone who doesn't accept, someone who rejects it. Someone who rejects the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen is a kafir. And that too, that can be proven from the Quran itself. And if I get the time, inshallah, we'll talk about the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. But tonight's lecture is on Imamate itself. Imamat was what? That ukhda from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given to the people. Or He had given to certain people for them to guide mankind to where they needed to go. But the Muslims, they decided, no, they didn't want this guidance. They wanted to guide themselves. How do you guide yourself? You yourself who's walking on the wrong path, you'll be able to guide yourself? When you don't know if the path you're walking on is right or wrong, how can you truly guide yourself to heaven? It's difficult. It's not possible. Unless what? Unless you have a guide to guide you. And that's exactly what an imam does. That's exactly what imamat was here for. And you look at Imam Hussein, brothers and sisters. That's exactly why Imam Hussein al-Islam, he rose up. To guide mankind. When he rose up, before he rose up, what did he say to his companions? He asked them, the prayer that was being prayed at the time of the Holy Prophet, has that prayer stayed intact today? They said no. The way people were fasting in the time of the Holy Prophet, the way people were doing Hajj in the time of the Holy Prophet, have any of those stayed intact the way they were in the time of the Holy Prophet until today? They said no. He says, look at what's happening to Islam. Look at what's happening to the religion of the Prophet. How am I going to pay bayat to a man like Yazid? How am I going to pay? Someone like me will never pay bayat to someone like Yazid. Why was this? Why did Islam come to where it came to during Imam Hussein's time? This greed that is within everyone, if not kept in check, it leads to that. It leads to that. The stones were placed where for Karbala? The stones were placed during the time of the Holy Prophet himself. The stones were already placed during the last pilgrimage of the Holy Prophet. When 6 people decided underneath the Kaaba that no matter what happens, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam would never become Khalifa. The first Khalifa came, he put the stones, he made them even heavier. He made the foundation even stronger. The second one came, even stronger. The third one came, that's when it became completely strong. And the roots were so strong that it was difficult to get rid of them. It was difficult to get rid of them. What happens, brothers and sisters, because those roots were so strong, Imam Hussein, he ended up needing to rise up. He had to rise up. If he wasn't to rise up, that Islam itself would have been completely gone. Today, this La ilaha illallah that we read today was saved because of Imam Hussein alayhi salam's sacrifice. This La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah that we read today was saved because not just Imam Hussein's sacrifice, but the sacrifice of Lady Zainab salawatullah alaiha too. What people need to realize is that the jihad of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam is known as Jihad al-Asghar. That's the lesser jihad. But the jihad of Lady Zainab salawatullah alaiha is Jihad al-Akbar, the greater jihad. What makes her jihad the greater jihad, brothers and sisters? Because these days of Safar, Ayyam Zainabiyya has started. In Muharram, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when he was martyred, the mission that he had was complete there on the 10th of Muharram. Now it's time for Lady Zainab salawatullah alaiha to take that mission forward. And how does she take it forward? Do you all know? Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah. Sallallahu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Sallallahu alayki ya Siddiqatu Fatima. Sallallahu alayka ya Hasan al-Mujtaba. Sallallahu alayka ya Gharib al-Ghuraba. Ya Aba Abdullah al-Husayn. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Brothers and sisters, it's the 28th of Rajab. Lady Zainab salawatullah alaiha, she leaves for the Safar with Imam Hussein on the 28th of Rajab. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, his journey ends when? The 10th of Muharram. But Lady Zainab salawatullah alaiha, she's been in Safar, she's been a traveler for more than 6 months. And what happens, brothers and sisters? It's the 28th of Rajab. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he's been called to Medina, and he's been called to do bay'at to Yazid. And what happens, Imam Hussein, he goes there and he tells Lady Zainab, oh Zainab, I've been called to the palace. And Lady Zainab, she goes, Ya Hussein, oh my brother, what did they want from you? Imam Hussein, he says that I think that Muawiyah has passed away and that they want me to do bay'at for Yazid. And Lady Zainab, she says, oh my brother Hussein, my heart is aching. I think they're trying to kill you. Imam Hussein, he says, oh, my sister Zainab, don't worry. I will not die here in Medina. Oh, my sister Zainab, don't worry. He is not, the Marwan is not my killer. Lady Zainab, she says, oh, my brother Hussein, just so my heart is at ease, can you please take the Hashimi clan and take them with you? She goes to Abul Fazl Abbas and she says, Ya Abbas, you're my brother. You're the protector of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. I want you to go with Abu Abdullah to make sure that he is completely safe. Hazrat Abbas, he says, oh Zainab, oh my sister Zainab, I will definitely go with them. Do not worry. I will make sure that he is completely safe. Imam Hussein, he says, oh Zainab, you don't have to do this. No one needs to go with me because I will not be killed here. But Lady Zainab, she says, oh my brother Hussein, please take Abbas with you. So Imam Hussein, he says, okay Abbas, let's go. When they get there, Imam Hussein, he goes inside, but before he goes inside, Abul Fazl Abbas, he says, oh my master, tell me, is there a sign for me to come inside? And Imam Hussein, he says, Ya Abbas, when I raise my voice, that's when I want you to come inside. If I raise my voice, that's when I want you to come inside. So what happens, brothers and sisters, when Imam Hussein goes inside, Marwan ibn Hakam, Lanatullah, he's there and he says to Imam Hussein, Ya Hussein, we want you to pay your allegiance to Yazid. Imam Hussein, he gets mad and he says, a man like me will never pay allegiance to a man like Yazid. And Marwan, he said, if you do not do it, then he tells the governor of Medina that if he does not pay allegiance, then you have to kill him. He tells him, kill him now before he escapes, or you'll never get another chance. So what does Imam Hussein do? He yells out, oh Marwan, are you going to kill me, or is the governor going to kill me? As soon as he yells this out, Abbas alayhi salam, he runs into the palace and he says, Ya Hussein, oh my master Hussein, tell me what you want me to do. Do you want me to kill Marwan first, or do you want me to kill the governor first? Imam Hussein, he says, oh Abbas, put away your sword. This is Medina. This is the city of my grandfather. We will not fight here. Abbas, put your sword away. Abbas alayhi salam, he puts his sword away. Imam Hussein, he goes back to Lady Zainab and he tells the family that, oh my family, we need to leave Medina tonight. We need to leave as soon as we can. Gather everything you can, and in the morning you will leave from Mecca. Brothers and sisters, what happens that night? That night the family gets ready. But there's just a newborn baby. And this newborn baby, brothers and sisters, he's very attached to Sughra. He would never leave. He doesn't leave the lap of Fatima to Sughra. Lady Zainab, she goes. She tries to get him, but he doesn't want to leave that lap. Then the mother of Ali al-Asghar, she goes and she tries to get him. He doesn't want to leave that lap. When nothing happens, Imam Hussein, he comes and he asks, what is wrong? Lady Zainab, she says, oh my brother Hussein, Ali al-Asghar, he doesn't want to leave the lap of Sughra. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he goes to Ali al-Asghar and he just says one phrase to his ears. He says, oh Asghar, Ya Ali, your name is with the martyrs of Karbala. You have to also make this journey. As soon as Ali al-Asghar, he hears these words, he leaves Sughra's lap and he comes to his father's arms. And Imam Hussein, he takes Ali al-Asghar, he gives it to the mother, and brothers and sisters, they leave to Makkah, and when they leave to Makkah, they stay in Makkah for a few months. And then what happens? Muslim ibn Aqil, who was the representative of Imam Hussein alayhi salam from Kufa, he sends a letter to Imam Hussein telling him to come to Kufa as soon as possible. But Hazrat Muslim did not know what will happen with him. Why? Because when he was reading Salat al-Maghrib, there was 30,000 people that were praying behind him. As soon as he finished his Isha prayers, there was no one left for him to be with. So what does Hazrat Muslim do, brothers and sisters? He realizes that they have lied to him, and he realizes that Imam Hussein is on his way back. And what does he do? He walks the streets of Kufa. Why? Because he himself is a traveler and he has nowhere else to go. And he comes in front of a house where there's an old lady standing, and he stands there and the old lady asks, oh sir, do you not have anywhere to go? Hazrat Muslim, he says, oh lady, I am the representative of Imam Hussein. I'm Muslim ibn Aqil. I have nowhere to go. Can you just give me a little bit of water? She gives him some water and then she says, please go back to where you came from. He says, I don't have anywhere to go. I'm the representative of Imam Hussein. I'm Muslim ibn Aqil. The old lady, she says, are you really Muslim? If you're truly Muslim, then you can come into my house and you can stay with me for the night. So he goes into the house, he stays with her, but he did not know that the son of this lady, he was working for the Yazidi army. The lady, when the son comes back late at night, the lady, she tells her son, "Oh, my son, we have a guest tonight." And the man, he asks, "Who's our guest?" And he says, and the lady, she says, "Our guest is a representative of Imam Hussein, is Muslim ibn Aqil." The man, he doesn't say anything to his mother. He goes to sleep. In the morning, he goes straight to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad and he tells him that Muslim ibn Aqil is in his house. What happened? Ubaydullah, he brings an army to the gate of that woman's house and they surround the house. When as a Muslim hears the people come out, he runs outside the house. The lady, she says, "Oh Muslim, if you stay within the house and you fight them one by one, you'll be successful." But Muslim, he says, "No, my lady, no, I cannot do this. This house is your property. This house is yours. I cannot put this house in danger." So he goes outside and he shows the army what the power of the Hashimi clan is. And then what happens, brothers and sisters, the leader of the army, he tells Muslim, "Oh Muslim, if you put down your sword, I'll make sure nothing happens to you." As a Muslim, he doesn't say anything, he doesn't pay any attention. He still fights. A second time he says it. And then what happens, brothers and sisters, the leader of the army, he asks for more soldiers and he writes a letter. When he writes a letter a second time, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, he says, "I've sent you to capture only one person. Why have you written letters to me 3 times to capture this one person?" And then the leader of the army, he writes back to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, he says, "Oh Ubaydullah, know that the person you sent me to capture isn't some nobody within the streets of Kufa. No, this personality that you've sent me to capture is none other than a Hashimi, none other than a relative of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Know what he can do. If I ask you to send me the whole army, do not hesitate. Please send me the whole army." Brothers and sisters, the reason 30,000 people needed to be in Karbala is why? Because on the night of Zul Hijjah, the Yazidi army knew what one Hashimi could do. So they had to decide, if this is what one Hashimi can do, what would 40, what would 30, what would just Imam Hussein and Abul Fazl Abbas, what would they be able to do? And brothers and sisters, when Imam Hussein learned that his brother Muslim ibn Aqil had been martyred, what does Muslim do? When they take Hazrat Muslim up there, Hazrat Muslim, he just turns around to the direction that Imam Hussein was coming from, and he says his final salam. He says, "Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah." While Imam Hussein al-Islam, he hears the salam, he says back, he replies back, "Wa alayka salam." Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Matam Hussein.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. उस वक्त जब के ज़ैना दरबार में गई थी, कारी नमाजियों से महफिल सजी हुई थी। जालिम ये पूछता था, गाजी तेरा कहाँ है? बालों से मुँह छुपाए ज़ैनब ये कह रही थी, ऐ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ान, सर छुपाऊं कहाँ? मजमाए आम में बेवतन बेअमान आ गया कारवां,
اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کہاں اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کہاں میں بھی ہوں مرضیہ بنت خیر النساء میرے لہجے میں ہے بابا تیری ادا نام زینب میرا تو نے جو رکھ دیا دے دے اپنی زبان اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کہاں اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کہاں بابا جان میں رضا مانگتی رہ گئی بام و در سج گئے جیتے جی مر گئی حلقہ شام میں نام سن کر میرا مر گیا ناتواں اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کہاں اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کہاں ہاتھ کانوں پہ ہے نیل گالوں پہ ہے اور نشان جو سکی نا کے شانوں پہ ہے ہر نشان سے یہی آ رہی ہے صدا بابا جان اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی سر چھپاؤں اے میرے بابا جان ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کہاں شام عاشور سے شام کو تلک میں نے مانگا نہیں ہے خراج فدق میری چادر سے ہے میری ماں کا سکون سن لے سالم جہاں اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کہاں اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کہاں بابا جان یہ تیرا آخری تھا بیان تیری چادر بچا ایک غازی جوان مر گیا با وفا چھن گئی ہے ردا کہتی ہیں بیبیاں عباس 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 رک نہ پایا میرے باوفا کا وہ سر نوکے نیزہ سے آنے لگا خاک پر بہن کو در بدر دیکھ کر ننگے سر سے نہ پایا جوان، اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر چھپاؤں کہاں، اے میرے ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر چھپاؤں کہاں، کل تھی آج میں بھی ہوں دربار میں، مثل زہرا کھڑی ہوں میں اغیار میں، اس طرف ہے شکی اس طرف رہ گئی بے پدر بیٹیاں، اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر چھپاؤں کہاں، اے میرے بابا جان ہے اذان، سر چھپاؤں کہاں، ایسا خطبہ دیا میں نے دربار میں، لکھ رہا ہے جو یاور تیرے پیار میں، لہجۂ حیدری ہر اذان کے لیے ہے صدائے اذان، اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر چھپاؤں کہاں، اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر چھپاؤں کہاں، یا حسین 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 یا حسین، اللہم صلی اللہ۔
السلام عليك يا مولاي يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا مولاتي وسيدتي يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام على مولاي الحسن المجتبى، السلام على مولاي الحسين الشهيد بكربلاء، السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، السلام على مولانا زين العابدين ومولانا محمد الباقر ومولانا جعفر الصادق ومولانا موسى الكاظم، السلام على مولانا علي الرضا ومولانا محمد الجواد ومولانا علي الهادي ومولانا الحسن العسكري، السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل قيامك وظهورك، صلى الله عليك وعلى آبائك الطاهرين ورحمة الله وبركاته، اللهم صل على محمد.
نعرہ حیدری
یا علی. Mu'min and Mu'minat, tomorrow the majlis will start at 8 p.m. and Maulana Sayyid Tayyab Moosavi will say the majlis. And there's a majlis on 19th October, Saturday, at 1 p.m. in the afternoon on Saturday, 19th October. And Maulana Shahriar Raza Abidi will address the majlis on 19th October, Saturday at 1 p.m. afternoon. Allama Sayyid Shahriar Raza Abidi will address the majlis. या ये भी करना ओके ये क्या नाम कर रहे कौन फ्लैट कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे किसका नाम ओके सिस्टर समीर सिस्टर वीना सलमान It is one more announcement.